Thank you for browsing page 121. Today we're going to take a look in Core Rulebook 2022 Update. We're going to look at Effect. It's something that comes from the dice rolls in Traveler with your modifiers and everything else, and how it can impact your game and whether you should use it or not. This is something I kind of didn't use and I have since started using, and I just want to go over how it's changed my game and if it's something I'm going to keep using or if maybe it's something I need to eliminate. But I'll let you know my thoughts when we get into the video. Also, a quick reminder, we've got the Polar Vortex event coming up. I'll attach a link below. I'll be hosting up to 6 people at my table. You do have to buy a Polar Vortex badge to get into the con to play, and then it's $2 to sit at my table and play the game with me. Sorry, it's the lowest I could go. But a chance to sit down and play some Traveler with me on February 15th. It's a Saturday at 9 a.m. The game will go 9 to 1. I will provide all characters, all minis, any scenery we need, anything like that will be provided. You don't even have to have played Traveler before. If this is your first time, I'm going to be doing a real quick and dirty teaching on how to play Traveler, and we'll go from there. The idea of the game is to have fun. So that's Polar Vortex coming up on February 15th. I'll attach a link below. But back to the important topic today, Effect from the 2022 update. So what is Effect in Traveler? To answer that, we're going to turn to the Traveler Core Rulebook update from 2022. And we're going to look at Effect. It's on the same page as Boon and Bane. So if you watched my video on Boon and Bane, you see why I'm doing this one now. And for Effect, it says, for most situations, the only thing that needs to be determined is whether or not the Traveler succeeds. If the Traveler's total throw after applying all dice modifiers equals or exceeds the target difficulty, 8 is the standard, you succeed. If it's less, you fail. Often, however, it's important to know how well the Traveler did or how bad. To do this, subtract the target number from the dice roll of the check, including any modifiers. This margin of success or failure is the effect that can be used to calculate effect result on the effective results table. This is also used in combat to calculate damage. For example, if a Traveler rolls a 4 and a 3 for a total of for an average 8 check and then applies a die modifier plus 3 for a total of 10, the effect is 10 minus 8, the target number. The effect is 2. So that's pretty straightforward, but how the heck does it apply? Well, first we're going to look at the effects table, and that's right below. So effect results, the effect minus 6 or less, exceptional failure. The Traveler failed as completely as is possible to fail. Anything that can go wrong does go wrong. If attempting to repair a device, the device is further damaged and even destroyed. In a social situation, the Traveler gets into further trouble. So you've really screwed it up. Your target number was an 8, and you had no modifiers on it. It was just a 0 modifier. Your target number was an 8. You threw snake eyes. So 2 minus 8 is negative 6. You end up with exceptional failure. Minus 2 to minus 5, average failure. The Traveler has failed the task. Nothing else really to talk about, nothing to write home about. You just screwed up. Hopefully you can get another chance to roll. Minus 1, marginal failure. The Traveler has almost succeeded, and the referee may permit them to scrape a success if they take a significant consequence. A Traveler trying to jump across a chasm hangs onto the far side by their fingernails, but can only pull themselves up if they drop their backpack. A Traveler trying to land a ship can bring it down safely, but the ship may never fly again. A Traveler hacking a computer gets in, but security programs can trace their location. So I kind of like that one. It's really neat because it gives a lot of role playing. Okay, you just missed it, but it wasn't a complete waste. So the GM, depending on the story and the situation, can go ahead and say, okay, you have a marginal failure at minus 1. I'm going to let you succeed, but to do that, you have to fry the computer system you're working on or something like that. And you don't really get a choice at that point, but it can add to your story. It can add to role playing. I like that one a lot. And then we have marginal success. This is if your effect result is a 0. So if I needed an 8 and I rolled after modifiers exactly an 8, my modifier or my effect is 0. Marginal success. The Traveler barely succeeds at the task and may have to accept a condition on their success. They fix the engine, but it will overheat. They find a buyer for the goods, but the buyer is an untrustworthy criminal, etc. That's another way you can do it. So it's kind of the opposite side of this marginal failure coin is marginal success. And that's good for role-playing too. Yes, you got it done. You were tailing a guy and you got it done. But in just getting an average success, or a marginal success rather, the guy you're tailing doesn't see you, but one of his friends does. Something like that. So it's something to build the story. Again, it's a really good opportunity for the GM to add a lot of role-playing. And then if your effect is a 1 to 5, average success. The traveler succeeds normally. So if my target number is an 8, and after modifiers, my number is a 10, 10 minus 8 is 2, I have an average success. And a 6 or more, exceptional success. The traveler succeeds in an impressive and elegant fashion. So you've succeeded by 6 or more. So that is, you just lights out, you buzz the towers, you're making this difficult landing. There may be consequences for you for having buzzed the tower, but you did survive, you made the roll, congratulations. So it's kind of neat. I like this, and now I have to clarify. When I first started running Mongoose Traveler 2nd, the first few games I didn't use effect. I wanted to get my players back into Traveler. We've been playing T20 for a long time with a little bit of Mega Traveler and a little bit of Classic Traveler thrown in. But I wanted to get them back into Traveler on a regular campaign. And to do that, I just kept it as close to Classic Traveler as I could, which meant just success or failure on your rolls. And they knew all that. So what I did is after a game or two of that, I went ahead and I introduced Effect. And we'll talk about Effect a little bit more in just a second. And then after that, I've more recently introduced Boon and Bane dice. So Boon and Bane dice, if you saw my video on that, they're pretty straightforward. They don't change effect as much per se, but they can. So let's talk about what effect is. There's a few examples given here. And then we take a look at combat. In combat, when you succeed and you damage someone, each weapon traveler lists the damage it inflicts as a number of dice. A rifle, for example, has a damage score of D3. The very first bullet point, upon a successful attack, damage is rolled for with the effect of the attack added to the total. That was the one when I started really using effect, and I explained it to my players. That was the one my son Adam grabbed onto instantly. He's, wait a minute, you've been cheating us. I said, no, I'm kidding. But I wasn't cheating them, I just wasn't taking the time to calculate it. Part of my fear was, honestly, I was afraid too many steps in the combat would slow things down too much. It's easy, as anyone who's run role-playing games or even played them knows, if you get too dialed into the details, it's easy to really, really slow a combat down to a crawl. And I didn't want to do that, especially getting them back into a Traveler campaign. Keep in mind, too, I hadn't run a Traveler campaign in quite a while. I had some loose games that I ran here and there, and I love Traveler, but I hadn't run an actual campaign in a number of years. So I wanted to ease my way back into this. And one of the ways I eased back in was I held effect out until later, until we played a little bit. But now, going back to damage, let's use my example from before. My target number is an 8. On 8, I have a +2 for my combat skill. I throw 2 die 6. On the die 6, I throw a 3 and a 5. That equals 8, plus my 2 for combat skill. No dexterity bonus. That gives me a 10. So my hit success is a 10. Good job. And then my effect is 2. 10 minus 8, my target number. So if that's the case, then the person I've inflicted damage on, I throw my 3 die 6 for my combat rifle. If the number comes up as a 9, I add 2 more to that for my effect. That's a total of 11. That builds up. And now we'll do another example, but this time I have an easy shot, so it's only a 6 to hit on 2 die 6. And I have +2 for gun combat skill and +2 for dexterity. So I'm a total of +4. So for my 6 target number, I throw a 5 and a 6. That's 11. And I'm adding 4 to that comes up to 15. 15 minus 6, my target number is 9. My effect on that is a 9. That's an exceptional hit. And in Traveler, that's a massive difference. You just pop someone for a lot of damage. And keep in mind, Traveler has so many hit points. See my air quotes, hit points. Your average Traveler has 7 strength, 7 dex, 7 endurance. That's 21 hit points. Now, Traveler has that great degrading performance stuff. So if I'm hit the first time, it comes up my endurance, and that can get me exhausted and things like that. If I'm hit another time, my dexterity goes down. And then functionally, if my dexterity was a 7 and it's down 3, my dexterity is a functional 4 now. I love that about Traveler because the dynamic of combat actually changes how you play, how the game goes. And that's what Effect does too. Effect goes ahead and gives you bonus damage based on how well your attempt went. So my attempt of 8, if I rolled complete with my skills, I rolled a 12. That would be 12, my successful roll, minus 8, my target number, an effect of 4. If, again, I'm shooting my combat rifle and I do 10 damage, I add 4 on top of that. That's 14 damage. Now my target takes out any appropriate armor it might have, and then the rest is applied to statistics. So it's pretty neat. I like Effect a lot more than I did when I first read it. I tried doing a little combat by myself, and I threw Effect in a little bit, and it was slowing me down a little bit just because I was trying to learn the other rules better too. So I decided against it, and then when I decided I was going to introduce Effect, I sat down with my sons, Patrick and Adam, and we did a little mock combat, and I showed them how Effect was, and that was when my son Adam accused me of cheating them of damage in combat all this time. And we really embraced it, and it doesn't slow combat down. You just need to know your target number, which you should know anyway. And then when you throw the dice, we do the effect and add that to the damage. It's pretty straightforward. It can be game changer. But keep in mind, too, this works for the bad guys, too. If the bad guy's number is an 8, and he's got +2 for his combat rifle, and he hits on a 12, a modified 12, so that's 12 minus 8 is 4. He gets 4 additional damage on that shot also. So it works both ways. And that can be a little cumbersome for the GM, but not once you've done it a little bit. I'm an experienced GM. I've been jamming for a very long time. Once I got the mechanic down, the rest of it was pretty simple. So there you have it. That's a very quick look at Effect and the effect it can have on your game. It can be tremendous. Also, Effect they talk about a little bit in task resolution. If I have an effect of, I roll my astrogation and my effect is a 6 or greater on my astrogation check, I bring that ship in right on the point, pointed in the right direction, the whole shebang. So the GM should be ready to award some simple things there. But now, because I've got my jump so precisely pinpointed, maybe it shaves a day off of our travel in normal space, because we got right there at the 100 diameter limit, and we were pointed in the right direction, and the engine thrust was going the correct direction. Everything came out perfect. Captain gives me a big slap on the back for a job well done, and we shave, like I say, maybe in role-playing game, in the rules, maybe we shave 1 day off in-space travel, or maybe the guys in the tower who saw the appearance from jump space just kind of look at it and give you a wow, great job, wow, that was so cool kind of thing. Who knows? There's a lot of ways you can build this in a role play, and it can be a lot of fun. But that's all I've got to say today on Effect. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Let me know any other suggestions for videos you'd like to see. Also comment, just keep them polite, and I would try to respond to as many as I can. And take a look at the Patreon, see if you can help me out there. And I'll see you next time for page 121.